everybody, it's me, Timmy Flyersguy, and welcome to this week's edition of the Timmy Flyersguy podcast. I usually do this on Wednesdays, but I want to apologize to all my viewers. I wasn't feeling well. I do this on Wednesday, but I'm doing it today. I usually do this on Wednesday, but on Tuesday, I had my vaccine, and I got some side effects from it. I got a fever and body aches, so I wasn't feeling well for a couple of days, but I'm feeling okay now, and I'm feeling pretty good today, so everything seems to be going well. So on today's episode, I'm gonna take a look back at the 09-10 Philadelphia Flyers, and I'm on BroadStreetHockey.com's website, and I'm gonna listen to this article that's on their website. So I want to give all my credit to Broad Street Hockey. I do not own any footage here, any of the audio. The credit goes to Broad Street Hockey. He owns the rights to this audio, so I want to listen to this because I'd like to listen to this and record it because this is my favorite year, and I'd like to hear what this gentleman has to say, so here we go.
Thanks for choosing to listen. We're converting your article into audio and will begin playing momentarily.
Takes a while for it to process, so I have to wait a little bit. But please bear with me, because I'm getting ready to see if this article actually works. Because I really want to hear it.
Do you remember when the Flyers were fun? After another disappointing loss to Boston on Thursday night, one in which the Flyers were shut out and displayed a less than passionate effort, and then another embarrassment on Saturday afternoon, it was hard not to feel a sense of apathy. Normally, one uninspired loss is something fans would brush off, but the collection of years of these types of events and the same, unaddressed problems, have led most to a place where this feels more like the new normal. A number of us began to recall better times and players we'd enjoyed watching, which led me to wondering, exactly when was the last time the Flyers were truly fun? Although there have been other moments here and there, for me the answer was probably most appropriately, the 2009-2010 Flyers. The 2009-10 Philadelphia Flyers. The season had begun with both familiar names and some new faces. A team loaded with past and future captains like Mike Richards, Chris Pronger, Danny Briere, Kimmo Timonen, and Claude Giroux captured our hearts. Quirky, fun characters like Scott Hartnell and Dan Carcillo got fans going and, at times, made them laugh. This team had not only skill, but personality, in fact, so much so that it occasionally drew the eye of the media, who liked to point out they might have been having a little too much fun off the ice. Peter Laviolette, who was famous for wanting his team to play with jam, a reference to the requisite effort one must deploy to play in his system, still felt like a Philadelphia treasure. Vocal, fiery and full of fist-pumping, Laviolette was not only the embodiment of the fans' desire to see hockey played like it mattered, but he was also a talented tactician and timeout mastermind that truly knew when he needed to push certain buttons to get results. What, beyond these things, made this team fun, and why were they able to accomplish what so many recent Flyers teams were not? Let's look back at a few high points. Flyers had Chris Pronger. In the offseason, the Flyers had acquired towering, all-world defenseman Chris Pronger. The price was steep and the risk was great, but the rewards had the potential to be even greater. Pronger and Ryan Dingle were acquired from Anaheim for Joffrey Lupul, Lucas Spisa, and 2 first-round picks. Pronger, without question, was a leader, and not just any leader, but the type that had won Stanley Cups in the past. This is what true veteran presence looks like, It snarls, it drives people to be better than they thought they could be, and it educates them to understand how to overcome the moments they've overcome themselves. Chris Pronger was all of those things, but he was also crafty and still very, very good. Maybe Pronger could be overbearing in the eyes of some, but he'd seen the promised land and he commanded your respect. Pronger was the exciting addition that made us begin to wonder, could this be the year? The Flyers had just pushed all their cards to the center of the table for Pronger, a move you only execute if you believe it will eventually lead to a cup. The Flyers, and I'd wager most fans, believed that was a real possibility. The Flyers didn't ultimately reach their goal, however Pronger left many lasting memories. What we will all likely never forget are the moments Pronger spent stealing pucks from Chicago players after goals in the final. Was it juvenile or genius? Was he just getting under the opposition's skin, or was he taking pressure off his young team by drawing the attention to himself? Was he just denying them their mementos out of spite? Does it matter? It was entertaining. Pronger was equally entertaining in interviews, where he often liked to keep the media on their toes. Between his antics as a questionable purveyor of pucks and snarky, tongue-in-cheek interview, he became one of the bigger stories during the Flyers' first Stanley Cup final in some time. No one really knows where all of those pucks went, but the simple fact that the Flyers defensemen made the entirety of the hockey world focus on something other than the Flyers goaltenders or youth likely helped keep the room just a bit looser. Pronger ultimately finished 2009-10 with 55 pints in 82 games and another 18 pints in 23 games in the playoffs. When he was injured in 2011 to 2012, it began a chain reaction of events that would lead the Flyers to where they are today. The shootout for the playoffs. The season wasn't perfect. The Flyers had its stretches of inconsistency, but also moments of brilliance. On the last day of the season, the Flyers would end up facing the one team that could keep them out of the playoffs, the New York Rangers. This was a true must-win. As if that wasn't enough, they would end up needing a shootout, where the odds appeared to be against them. In the shootout, it didn't matter that the Flyers had 3 great lines, leadership, or the ability to flip a switch and dominate a game. What did matter was goaltending, which was the perceived weakness of the Flyers, and there was no way to avoid a critical test in that area. The Flyers had used 5 different goaltenders in 2009-10, with only Brian Boucher playing over 30 games, so a shootout for all the marbles was not really ideal. In the end, a baby-faced Claude Giroux beat Henrik Lundqvist with a gutsy, methodical, one-on-one shot, and Brian Boucher shut the door on Olli Jokinen to put the Flyers into the playoffs in the most dramatic of ways. Watch the footage below. Listen to the crowd. Watch the celebration and look at the faces on the players, Ed Snyder and the fans. This was genuine excitement and passion. This is just a little of what's missing today. I'd be naive if I said every middle-of-the-year game could harness this level of built-up drama, but remembering the way we felt about this team and seeing players like Danny Briere, who was absolutely always clutch, storming down the ice, reminds me of how much we miss players who delivered in so many big moments and the expectation that Philadelphia Flyers hockey was winning hockey. The comeback in Boston. As of the 2010 playoffs, only 2 teams in the history of the NHL found themselves up to the task of coming back from a 3-0 deficit in the Stanley Cup playoffs, with the last one being the 1975 New York Islanders. To say it wasn't typical would be an understatement of the highest magnitude. It was probably statistically more likely to see a Cowboys fan at Veterans Stadium. Prior to its retirement, the Flyers had dropped the first 3 games of the series, with the worst beating occurring on home ice. They challenged Boston at home in Game 1, losing 5-4 in odd and again in Game 2, as they lost 3-2. But during Game 3, a game the Flyers lost 4-1, one hit changed the complexion of the series. On a slow outlet pass to the center of the ice, Flyers captain Mike Richards caught David Krejci with a clean, hard, shoulder-to-shoulder hit. The puck would ultimately end up in the back of the Flyers' net, damaging the Flyers' Game 3 chances, but it would be Krejci's wrist that suffered the worst damage. With Krejci out for the remainder of the series and Simon Gagner returning from injury, though clearly not 100%, the Flyers felt like a team that had a chance to at least salvage their pride. It was a poor time for Brian Boucher to have a game of rough goals against, but that's exactly what happened. Trailing 1-0 and then later giving up a game-tying goal with under a minute left in the third period, the Flyers had every reason to pack it in and just let the season slip away. Instead, late in the first overtime, Simon Gagner redirected a Matt Carle pass and the arena exploded. The Flyers found a way to win, 5-4 in odd. It was, at least for one day, a series again. In Game 5, the Flyers thoroughly shocked the Bruins at home, beating them 4-0 on their own ice, and now, a group that was largely written off, started to make us all believers. Gagner's return seemed to spark the Flyers, as he potted 2 more goals and added another dimension to a lineup that had been missing Jeff Carter, as well. The Flyers went on to win Game 6 on the strength of a Danny Briere power play goal, and suddenly, this comeback could be real. Game 7 brought out every Flyers fan who'd ever dreamed of seeing the team hoist the cup again. Stores sold out of t-shirts, people learned how to pronounce Ville Leino's name, friends gathered with others to watch the game, and the Ben Wachovia Center in Philadelphia filled up to watch the game. The game wasn't even in Philadelphia. Fans didn't care. Everyone was on board. After falling down 3-0 in the series, the Flyers would give up 3 early goals to Boston in Game 7. Peter Laviolette, as he was apt to do, called one of his patented timeouts. It wasn't long after that the Flyers stormed back with an ugly goal from James Van Riemsdyk, a great finish from Scott Hartnell, and yet another clutch Danny Briere playoff goal, tying the game at 3. With less than 6 minutes left in the third period, Simon Gagner lifted a puck into the top corner of the net and launched all of Philadelphia into the air, simultaneously, with it. Everyone remembers where they were the night this goal was scored. You remember where you were watching and who you were with. You remember if you had to miss the game, which I suspect was not the case for many, and if you're like me, you remember rewatching the game at least a few times, as if the Flyers had won the cup. This was only the second round, but with a 4-3 win in Game 7, this team inspired us all to believe. The shift. The Flyers had had a relatively formidable penalty kill throughout the year, one that, at times, had players like Mike Richards, Claude Giroux, Simon Gagner, and yes, Ian LaPerriere on it. This was a skilled park unit, and one that wasn't short on effort or intelligence when it came to breaking up opposition chances. Now facing Montreal, with LaPerriere having already laid his face on the line for the club in round 1, the Flyers were attempting to force their way all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Montreal was no pushover. They had knocked off a Capitals juggernaut that looked destined for a date with someone in the Cup final, as well as the defending champion, Pittsburgh Penguins. The Flyers would need another spark to help close things out, and they would get it, on the penalty kill, from Mike Richards, in a moment Philly fans would affectionately nickname the shift. The Canadians played with the same power play setup the Flyers, and many other teams, still employ today, and that system was broken, by effort. Watch the series of plays Richards makes a few times and you'll see, this is simply the desire of a player to kill a penalty, and the willingness to give absolutely everything he has to that end. The Flyers not only don't allow Montreal to set up, but they actually back Montreal off with effort and speed, which is something the Flyers, as a team, have not done consistently on the penalty kill for many years. We can malign the penalty kill coach for his system or question the team and wonder if they have the right personnel, but it's been a long time since we've seen desire and pushback like this on the penalty kill, regardless. The shift is often forgotten when thinking back to this season, overshadowed by the Herculean comeback in Boston that preceded it, but it is a stark reminder that in an age of numbers and algorithms, which do matter, extra effort and the desire to win still matter too. Where are we now? These moments and the way fans were drawn to them were a part of what it was to be a Philadelphia Flyers fan. Every year there was the expectation, perhaps even the obligation, to win or to lose by throwing your best punch. In 2009-10, we had fun and we embraced a collection of characters, clutch performers and leaders that were exciting, even when flawed. Maybe other seasons since have had moments, like the year Bryzgalov decided to declare his love of the solar system on HBO, but 2009-10 was different. The Flyers lost the cup that year to Chicago at home, in one of the more heartbreaking ways a team has ever lost a cup, but the season was ultimately remembered as an amazing, adrenaline-pumping ride that fueled all of us with emotion and belief that we would one day soon see the cup in Philadelphia. In the years since, we've spent many moments watching our teams falter, almost always starting slow and never managing to give us truly meaningful playoff hockey. We've seen coaching changes and the process, which led us to where we are today, still hoping. However, these days feel different, even to a long-term fan like myself, who has seen many ups and downs. These days, according to many fans, feel empty. I've seen apathy set in and a type of long-term discontent, among the very same people with whom I'd sat at tables and viewed games or discussed the team with vigor. I've seen people who used to prioritize games, prioritize chores, social media, or turning off their TVs in disgust, instead. Today, it feels as if what made the Flyers fun needs to be remembered, not just by the fans, but by the organization. It isn't necessarily all about winning. It isn't even about fans who just want to see the Flyers of old. It's about the expectation that, in lieu of a sales pitch and a somewhat disingenuous attempt to pull the wool over the fans' eyes, the Flyers will always push to win. You asked for patience and the fans, by and large, gave it to you. The organization has recovered and corrected many areas that needed corrected. The pipeline is full, the financials are healthy, and the cap space is comfortably squirreled away for a rainy day, but the inexhaustible passion and fire of the fans has been leaned on for too long. It's time to bring back fun. It's time to bring back tactics, expectation, effort, and accountability. It's time to end this stagnant attempt to explain away things that need changed and change them for the better. This city and its fans will never entirely abandon the Flyers. We're all part of a relationship that neither side, truly, wants to dissolve, but the current version of this organization has relied on the fans' unwavering support much too long. It's time to pay them back. Friday morning flyby. They tried.
That article was from Puck Therapy, October 29th, 2018. And everybody, I think you should check out this guy's articles because they sound pretty good. And the way he articulated his words in that article were very inspiring. And I agree, we need a Flyers team. Just like that team. Because honestly, that was one of the greatest seasons I've ever experienced. It was such a beautiful thing to see the Flyers become Eastern Conference champions. But it was heartbreaking to see them lose to Chicago in Game 6. And I agree, times have changed lately. We focus our anger a lot and our Flyers by turning the TV off, going to social media, and getting angry over a loss. But the truth is, we love our hockey team. Through the ups and downs, through the good times and the bad, we are all Flyers fans, and we all love this team. And I remember, this is one of the greatest moments I got to spend with my dad. Seeing the Flyers beat Boston in Game 7. I remember that day like it was yesterday. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little emotional here. I remember I was in the hospital. It turns out I wasn't feeling too well that day. And my potassium was very high. And I remember being there. The Flyers tied the score. Sorry, my eyes are really blurry. Flyers tied the score. And I'm closing my eyes because I'm thinking back right now. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was in the hospital. My potassium was low. And I can remember being there in the hospital. I was worried about missing the game. The potassium was very high. I had to take care of that. And I was nervous about missing the game. And I was in there watching the game with my dad. And Flyers were getting outplayed in the first period. But they managed to tie it up Later in the game, I tied the score 3-3. I was watching with my dad, and I can remember seeing it. Simone Gagne had the puck on the power play. I don't know if it was a power play or an even straight goal. But I remember seeing Simone Gagne take that puck and just bury it right in the back of the net, giving the Flyers a 4-3 lead in the third period. And the Flyers hang on to win that game, and they made to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, I wasn't able to get to many of these games, but I saw it on TV, and I can remember what it was like to see this hockey team truly excel. And getting to see that was one of the greatest moments of my life. And I'm happy that I got to experience that. Yes, eventually the Flyers did lose to the Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Finals. But this will always be a Flyers moment to remember. I just want to thank you all for joining me on my episode on my podcast. I'm sorry I'm getting so emotional, but this season has been rough, and it's nothing compared to the 09-10 Flyer season. Because that season was magical. That season really brought the city of Philadelphia together. And I will never forget that. And I will never forget that moment I spent with my dad. And with the anniversary of the passing of Ed Snyder coming up, I'm going to dedicate this podcast episode to the memory of Ed Snyder, a visionary, a pioneer, and an all-around great man. Thank you, Ed Snyder. You may be gone, but you'll never be forgotten. Thank you for giving us the gift of Flyers hockey. And now, I'm going to scroll down and check out the Flyers' reaction to this season. To the 09-10 season. So here we go, we're gonna take a look at one of my favorite moments of all time as a Flyers fan. Here we go.
Foul to the puck, 11 seconds remaining. One last rush perhaps for the Flyers. Giroux to Hartnell, to Giroux. Giroux holds, and cross. Pronger scores! 2.1 seconds remaining, and the Flyers are on top.
This turns into a 4-on-2. The pass by Claude Giroux to the weak side, and Chris Pronger beats Cristobal Huet. What a pass by Claude Giroux. But the quick outlet from the knee to the neutral zone. And then Pronger taking a chance, jumping into the play at the end.
This was in March, yeah. That was in March. That was also a great moment in season final with the goal. Okay, here's the moment that got the Flyers into the playoffs in 2010. This is how they got there. And I'm going to show you guys right here. This is a great moment. Right here. Here we go.
Well, this, I can say with a lot of confidence, a first. A shootout determines the playoff participant. Brian Boucher will try to stop pucks at one end. There's his save percentage on the year in shootouts. And a career 2-5 record. And this guy, quite frankly, one of the best in shootouts for his career. And that's the shooting percentage. You see there, 24%. It's a .755 save percentage, and that's right up there near the top in terms of save percentage in shootouts.
Yeah, you have to wonder if his teammates settled into that overtime, knowing that if they got to the shootout, they've got Lundqvist in goal. His numbers are phenomenal.
There's no two ways about it. In the last 2 minutes of that overtime, they were stalling to be able to get to this point. There was no thrust at all. They were going backwards with the puck. Dubinsky at one point had the puck right to my right at the blue line and fired all the way back in behind his own net. That doesn't tell me that they're going the right way. They were stalling.
Well, they're only 3-3 in shootouts. It's not as though they dominated them this year, but with Lundqvist in goal, you can understand why they might think a shootout is the way to go. Brian Boucher will try to beat King Henrik. Danny Briere will shoot first. Peter Laviolette has decided, since the home team has that option, that his team will take the first shot. Danny Briere, 1 for 5 this year, but over 40% for his career in shootout attempts. The pressure on these guys right now, enormous. Going through his head, what move should I try? Briere picks up the puck, and here we go. Slowly on in, he scores! Brilliant move, in close, 1-0 Philadelphia.
Danny Briere head up all the way, stick handling with his head, looking for the open spot, and he finds it glove side. Look at the movement there. Danny Briere just absolutely buries it.
Eric Christensen, over 50% for his career in shootout attempts. He's 1 for 3 this year. He will try to even this shootout. Often goes with that wrist shot of his. He picks it up and moves on in. Swings to the right and is beaten by Boucher. Brian Boucher, the answer, and the Flyers continue to lead 1-0 in the shootout.
Christensen tried to pick up speed right at the last minute, come back on the forehand. But watch Boucher. Christensen's the one that made the move first. Boucher stayed right with him, made a nice save as he went from left to right.
The captain will try to give the Flyers a 2-0 lead in the shootout. Over 30% in his career. He's 1 for 5 this year, and in he goes. Straight line toward the net. Slows down, and then took the shot. I'm not sure if Lundqvist batted that away or went wide on its own.
Richards thinking blocker side all the way. A little stutter step right there, and the quick wrist shot. Lundqvist able to get it with the stick.
Was able to get a piece of it. Now it's P.A. Parenzo. How good is he in shootouts? Well, 2 for 2 at the National Hockey League level. He has not been stopped, and he picks up the puck with plenty of speed. In on goal! Scores! He ties it at 1.
Right here, you see Parenteau is going to come with the forehand. Lost the puck nearly. And that might have really caused a problem for Boucher because Boucher goes back into the net and the puck up over his body.
Claude Giroux, 2 for 4 this year, 2 for 7 in his career. He has wide assortment of dazzling moves. Which one will he try here? Slowing down. The shot, he scores! The Flyers back back on top in the shootout. They're one stop away from the playoffs.
A mix of what Danny Briere did and Mike Richards. Stutter step there, and then the quick shot through the 5-hole. Giroux's head up all the way, and the fist bump to fall.
Ole Jokinen must score to keep the Rangers season alive. He's 5 for 9 this year in shootouts. 40% for his career as he starts from way back near his own goal line and picks up the puck with lots of speed. Roaring on it is Jokinen. The deke, the save by Boucher, and the Flyers are going to the playoffs.
Right there. Right there. Right there. That's right.
And finally, the Flyers can say they are playoff bound for the 14th time in their last 15 seasons. A classic here at the Wachovia Center.
And great for Brian Boucher to make that.
Jim Garrison said it correctly, folks. A classic in Philadelphia.
Here comes Richards. Mike Richards spins it. Late guy Carr walking in.
He scores! Simon Gagne! The Flyers survive and force Game 5.
Let's go come back to where it happened. Game 4, 5-6.
You gotta have pride and you gotta believe. That's what the Flyers were all about tonight. The Bruins turned the puck over against a 1-3-1 neutral zone coverage by the Flyers, and they turned it into instant offense. We talked about their defensemen being more active. Carl with his...
That was a beautiful goal by Simon Gagne. What a memory. And then here's one of the greatest moments in Flyers history right here.
Simon Gagne takes the puck. In for Gagne. Walks in, waits, drops it down for Reno. Lays it across to Richards. Shoots. Back down to Gagne scores! Simon Gagne! Flyers lead! Simon Gagne since
I remember that day. I was in the hospital. That was the day my potassium was high. And I was in the hospital, and I remember watching Simon Gagne score that goal, and I remember my heart rate going up, and the pulse ox just started beeping real loudly. The nurses came in, and they found out. They saw what happened on the TV. They saw Gagne scored a goal, and Flyers winning. They saw the Flyers winning, and they're like, well, no wonder your heart rate is so high. I'm like, yeah, you got that right. And now, we take a look at another great moment. The shift.
Along the boards, there's Bergeron. Forced away by Richards. Claude Giroux, 3-on-2 with Richards. Here's the trailer. Big save. Halak robbed Coburn.
What a play by Mike Richards to set that up.
Metropolitan along the boards. As the hitting intensifies, it's 1-0 Montreal. On a power play for another 50 seconds. Richards trying to scoot in there alone. Halak way out of the net. It pinballs to the crease. Score! Mike Richards!
The Flyer captain is announcing his presence as the alpha male early in this one. Big hit. Sets up that cranker from Coburn, the defenseman joining the attack. They win a puck deep in their own zone. Hammerleck and the goaltender Halak collide. Oh, did they ever. And it's a tap in for Richards. Another look at this. Halak was very aggressive. If he comes out to play that and Hammer.
That was a great game. That was a great game, and well, what a shift from Mike Richards. And I just want to thank everybody for watching this episode of the Timmy Flyersguy podcast. I'm sorry it was like all over the place, but I just wanted to do something a little different and something a little more positive, because we all know right now the city of Philadelphia and every Flyers fan, they need some positivity right now, and I want to do this for my city and for every Flyers fan, just like me, that wants to remember the good times. Thank you for joining me for this trip down memory lane. And I hope you all have a great weekend. And remember, no matter what, never give up on your team. Never give up on your dreams. And always follow your heart.